tilting over to your left. Inhale up to your right. Inhale up. Exhale, release your arms down. Watch out for your neighbor. Give it a shake out. Shake the legs. Now just a fold forward. Again, just look out for your neighbors next door, but you can shuffle around a little bit. Now you're getting really close with your booties and your heads together. So pay no mind. Forward fold. Just let your upper body hang down. Take a few deep breaths here. You can hold on to your opposite elbows if you like. A little swaying back and forth perhaps. And now while we're down there, just a little bit of pounding. So you just do like a very gentle with the fingers curled in. So you make little fists. And then just some gentle tapping up and down the legs, helping with the circulation, lower back. There you go. Fronts of the legs. And then release your hands down. Again, fold forward, breath in here. Exhale, soften, relax, and slowly on your inhale, roll up. Shoulder rolls. You can get your elbows in moving. There you go. And then shake it out one more time. If there's anything else you need to do, your body's calling for, just take a moment right now and do it. Maybe you need a twist. Some neck rolls are always good too. Some wiggles. A little stiff sometimes when we're sitting for such a long time. There you go. All right, then please take your seat when you're ready. I lost Deepak.
Yeah, I think so.
So how's it going? A lot of information, right? Too much? No. Okay. We're very fortunate to have Dr. Suhas. And we have the same teacher, right?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
We go back a long time. So let's start with this whole idea that Ayurveda is a consciousness-based approach. Let's define for everyone, once again, what is consciousness?
Before I talk about Ayurveda, I just want to express my deep gratitude to Deepak, and I'm really humbled in his presence. And every time he speaks about Ayurveda, it's music to my ears. And I'm echoing not only my own sentiments, but so many other experts in this field, scientists and physicians and yogis and spiritual teachers. He makes information sound real truth. And it really rings truth and makes that information absolutely right and applicable for us to live. And really thank him for his tireless work for more than 45 years now. And so to answer your question, I think the aspect of Ayurveda as science of life and a medical science which is totally based upon a consciousness-based approach to health and well-being simply takes this whole equation away from you, that you are a fragmented, isolated identity from the nature or the universe itself. So first and the foremost aspect is you start understanding yourself as an integral part of the universe and start paying attention to all the different rhythms and the changes of the nature around you and start syncing yourself in alignment with those things. So Ayurveda is a science which actually allows you and pays more attention to giving you an experience of your realization first from where your management of diseases, imbalances, and even ability to enjoy life to the fullest can be manifested more easily. So I think it's, instead of looking from health outward in, it actually talks about healing from within, and that's the very message and the basis of Ayurvedic medicine, I would say.
So have you discussed subtle body, causal body,
We haven't.
physical? So
We
let's
haven't.
do a little bit on that.
Yeah.
The three bodies.
So the way
physical.
Ayurveda looks at human body, or sharira as we call it, it's almost like these three concentric circles. One is called as sthula sharir, which is the grosser part of the physiology. You look at bones, tissues, tendons, ligaments, organ system. That is the grosser part of the physiology. Just underneath that is the sukshma sharir, which is the subtle aspect of the physiology, which is related with your mind, emotions, feeling, sensory faculties, sense organs, chakras, koshas, nadis. So it's just underneath the physical body is another network of this pathways of the energetic bodies, which is called as sukshma sharir. And even more deeper to that is something what we call it as Karan Sharir, which is the causal body, which is the field of Atma, which is the field of consciousness, where when you connect, you realize that you are never born and never gone. So you see those Russian dolls, like one under another Matryoshkas, it's exactly like those. So when we meditate, when we do yoga, when we find some quiet time and self-referral and mindful time with ourselves, we actually transcend the physical limitations of what you call it as the edges of the body. And once you transcend those edges of the body, you're able to dive into the realm of the subtle body, which is related with the impressions and the experiences that you have had and the way you have stored in your consciousness, and you start purifying them and going and finding that gap in between your thoughts to that formless, thoughtless state of yours, which is the very basis of self-realization. So every one of us has an access to that Karan Sharir, or the causal body. And every technique that we talk about, whether we talked just now about doing your pulse diagnosis or understanding some of the functioning of the physiology, should give you the experience of you are not a separate entity from the universe, but you are the totality. And you are able to find that and tap that reality and that realization. The motto of Ayurveda is Ayurvedo Amritanam. Means, how would a medical science actually have a motto of Ayurveda for immortality? And the way they talk about it, since we are a part of this unified field, or the field of consciousness, where we are a part of this non-changing and living this change every day in a day-to-day life, your access to that place is the most important one. The moment you realize that state of yours, which is never born and never gone, is an enlightenment. So from an Ayurvedic perspective, enlightenment is not a destination, it's a journey. And health is a byproduct of enlightenment.
Okay, so to just expand on that a little bit, not really expand, just give you a different perspective. This thing here, this is our physical body, okay? This is matter and energy. So in Ayurveda referred to as pranamaya kosha and anamaya kosha. Prana means energy and ana means food. So this body is energy and food. And primordial to this, behind this, is the subtle body, which is more information, I would say, like mind, intellect, ego. And then even further back is the causal body, which is having the experience of both the physical and the mental world in the form of what you see over there, qualia. So qualia is a word that was introduced in the Western literature about 1920s. It means quality, really, and it's a Latin word. It's a plural word, qualia. So the singular of qualia would be quale. And what's a quale? It's a unit of experience. A unit of experience. Just like a quantum is a unit of measurement. A quantum is the smallest indivisible unit in which waves of energy and information are either emitted or absorbed. Qualia is a unit of consciousness as an experience. And all experiences fit into four things. Either they are sensations, right? So it could be a sensation of smell, touch, sight, taste, smell. 5 senses. Or they're images. When we close our eyes, we frequently see images. Or they're emotions or feelings, or they're thoughts. That's it. Sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. Nice way to remember this, an acronym, is SIFT, S-I-F-T. Sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. What's our mind? It's these qualia. We experience sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. But they're subtle. And then how do we experience the body? We experience it as sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. How do we experience the universe? Sensations, images, feelings, thoughts. There's nothing outside this. So who are you? You're not the sensation, image, feeling, or thought. You're the being, the consciousness in which all this arises. And remember, it arises, and then it's experienced, and then it subsides. It's gone. The experience comes, it's there, then it's gone. But you are always there in the midst of all that experience. And that you is consciousness. So that is this word, self-referral. You're not referring to your image or your self-image, which is your ego, but you're referring to your true self, which is the eternal witnessing awareness in which all experience occurs. And Ayurveda is a science of self-referral. Do you want to say a few words?
Yeah, because what you're saying is so accurate, because the very definition from classical Ayurvedic text about Ayurveda, and pardon me for using the original Sanskrit quotes here, even though they may sound very foreign to your ears, but it helps me connect and share more authentic information. So it says, hita hitam sukham dukkham ayustasya hita hitam manam cha tacca yatroktam ayurveda sa uchyate. So what Ayurveda is really understanding what is beneficial for you, hitam or ahitam, what is not beneficial for you, what is going to bring you happiness or what is going to bring you unhappiness. It is a science of understanding the measurement of what is good or bad for you and understanding the nature of all these qualities. So when you talk about quanta and qualia is exactly the science of Ayurveda. So paying attention to, if you eat heavy, you become heavy. If you eat light, you become light. You change your experience, you change your body. So that's the first way to look at it. And you often say that if you have to really imagine what your thoughts are going to be, you look at your body, how it feels today. And so it's exactly what Ayurveda is all about, to be connected with yourself and paying attention to your environment so that you can calibrate it and regulate it before it's too late and it's too deep in the system to create an imbalance or disease. So it is a science for you to really help you understand with everything. And I think the simplicity of Ayurveda is that you just use your senses to understand the qualities of everything before you send it to the lab and find out exactly what is good for you.
Absolutely. So, you know, your mind and your body are both projections in the form of qualia, sensations, images, feelings, and thoughts. And if they're in the direction of comfort and joy and peace and equanimity and love, then the body feels comfortable because it's a projection of that. If they're in the opposite direction, then it feels uncomfortable, and all Ayurvedic technology is to rebalance the qualia, sensations, images, feelings, thoughts.
We use these two Sanskrit words quite often. One is saguna and the other is nirguna.
Nirguna.
So saguna is, guna means quality. So understanding the qualitative form of everything and slowly transcending the qualities. So you're getting over where you're not completely attached to the whole qualitative experience of everything, and you are in the state of non-change where the qualities don't affect you that much.
And even the state of non-change is a dynamic non-change. It's not a static non-change, which is real self-regulation, right?
That's exactly
Is
it.
dynamic non-change in the midst of change. So let's move into this change. The changes, the seasons, the rhythms, and our physical body is cradled in the rhythms of the universe. And this morning I mentioned the rhythms are circadian as the earth moves on its own axis, seasonal as the earth goes around the sun, lunar as there's this movement of earth, sun and moon in relationship to each other, and even tidal rhythms, so gravitational rhythms. And this is now being understood in science as the science of chronobiology. Your body is different times of the day, and in Ayurveda this is paid attention to in the form of these rituals, dinacharya and ritucharya, daily and seasonal rhythms and daily and seasonal rituals. Can
So
we
again,
share?
the daily routines are really important because we need to sync ourselves with what is happening in the universe. So when you wake up in the morning when the sun is coming up, you should start your day. When it's setting, you should slowly unwind. And the birds know that, the animals know that. Somehow we have forgotten about those rhythms.
Ever since the invention of the light bulb, that's what happened.
So when we constantly violate some of these laws of nature, then very soon we land up into certain kind of troubles which are a little bit more difficult, and we see those imbalances created because of that. Another important thing from an Ayurvedic point of view is not everyone is going to respond the same with different seasons and everything. If you're a Vata type, you may respond to the spring season a little bit differently than a typical Kapha type who would have more imbalances in the time when the Kapha is aggravated in spring. So there is a seasonal predominance of the doshas. Even the nature goes through those seasonal cleanses and purification. The trees shed their leaves in fall and new leaves come in spring. So everything is going through that shift and change of time and rhythm. So there are times of doshas. So from morning 6 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the morning is the time of Kapha. There's a lot of research done. So when you do more physical exercise in the Kapha time of the day, it's more easily you can build muscles and you can get stronger. Compared to doing exercise late in the evening, you actually start wasting and losing energy because of that. So there's a whole science that 6 to 10 is the time of Kapha, 10 to 2 is the time of Pitta, from 2 in the afternoon till 6 o'clock in the evening is the time of Vata. So you start feeling a little bit tired and you're ready for your evening meditation, ready to unwind. Again, 6 to 10 in the evening is the time of Kapha. So you want to slowly prepare yourself for your bedtime because the last bus that takes you there leaves by 10 o'clock, so you better be in your bed by that time. 10 to 2, even though it's the time of Pitta, but there's a lot of macrophagic activity, the immune system activity that is happening in your sleep. All the repair mechanisms are going on in your sleep in that time of the night. And then from 2 to 6, the sleep starts a little bit fading away and you're ready around the dawn in the morning. So once you start aligning yourself with the daily routine, then you are effortlessly syncing with these rhythms of the nature. So when I wrote this book, Hot Belly Diet, one of the premise of this book was that you wake up in the morning and when the sun is waking, your Agni is barely waking up, so you have a lighter breakfast. When the sun is prominent in the middle of the day in the sky, lunch, make it as the main meal of the day. And
Because
in the
there's Agni outside, Agni inside.
Agni inside. Liver is the representation of the sun in our body. And when the sun is setting in the evening, then you want to make your evening meal light. And so you are able to digest that meal completely before you sleep. So the research says sleep late to gain some weight, eat late to gain some weight. And so if you are eating too full and too late in the night, then you start creating ama, you start suppressing Agni. So there's a lot of logic and commonsensical understanding to paying attention to the rhythm. The animals know that, the birds know all those things. So I think it's only human species where we have to go and take nutrition classes and learn about that. And somehow we have forgotten the innate natural intelligence that we have in us.
And if you stay up late, stay up after 10, then what might happen is that Pitta is getting aggravated and you will because of that, you'll raid the refrigerator. And of course, your hormones, leptin, ghrelin, they also regulate your appetite. So evening meal should be before sunset.
Before sunset. Ideally, we would say by 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, because if you're going to sleep by 10 o'clock, it should be at least 3 to 4 hours before bedtime. So sometimes in summer, the sun sets too late. We'll take questions toward the end, if that's okay. So, and as Deepak was saying, sleep is one of the most potent anti-inflammatory activity that you will ever do in your life. It's one of the best anti-inflammatory activity. It reboots and recharges your body at every level. And there's a lot of importance given to good quality rest and good quality sleep from an Ayurvedic point of view also.
Blissful sleep.
Blissful sleep. Effortless, easy ability to fall asleep and easy ability to wake up and feel refreshed in the morning. Both of those polarities are very important. You should be able to fall asleep easily, stay asleep, and wake up refreshed. And it's very poetic. Means Ayurveda is a science, and everything that is described in the classic literature it sounds very poetic. Means when they said that, we did not have the validating research that this is all true. So the actual quotation, it says, Nidrayattam sukham dukkham pushti karsha balabalam vrushata klibata jnanam ajnanam jivitam nacha. So your longevity, lifespan, quality, quantity of life, digestive function, immune function, everything is totally dependent upon the sleep.
In fact, the most significant recent research is that the biggest risk factor for premature death is lack of sleep. And it's the big time research right now. So if you want to, have that, what he's talking about, longevity, try and get to bed by 10, and try and have a light meal in the evening. Make your main meal at lunchtime. And we're going to come to what that meal should be, or why don't we do that? The 6 tastes of life and...
Well, again, means food from an Ayurvedic medicine is very important. And before we go into nitty-gritty details, I think the term ahara, which is commonly referred to food, is very little to do with the food. Ahara simply means ingestion. So what you ingest, actually. So diet from an Ayurvedic point of view is often defined as what you take in from any field of perception, from any mode of intellect, that is diet. So what you touch, what you smell, what you feel, what